Hey guys and girls, it's warmed up to about 20 degrees or so. Chill temperature is probably still probably down around, I don't know, maybe down around probably 17, 18, 16 and 15, something like that. I don't know. But let's take us a little walk and go down to the cove right down here, not too awful far from the house, and see if we got any ice on that water. You know, that is a cove, and we got some ice around the edges out in front of the house, but this is the water supply cove. It's where we have our pump, and that pump gets down about 4 foot under, well, about 3 foot under the water, probably 4 foot under the water, and it pumps the water up into our big giant Culligan filtration system. That's a real expensive system. I don't know what we spent on that, $25,000 or $30,000 seems like. It was an awful lot of money, and but we have that good water. The problems that we've had with that water has been the part of it that we installed, really not the part that the Culligan installed. The part that is down underground, where we buried our PVC pipes down underground. We got 2-inch pipes buried down there, and they make quite a few turns and twists as we go up to my house and we go up to my partner's house. And where the ground moves as it's dry and wet, and we get rain, we don't get rain, the ground moves a little bit down there, and it cracks that PVC, and we have to go down and cut some off and put in elbows and joints and stuff like that, and it becomes quite a pain. Those of you that can remember back when we had the big cold, it got down to minus 14 degrees, and the water just blew up in our pump house down there. I mean, everything in there blew up. We had it insulated, had heaters on, but the electricity went out. When the electricity went out, the heater didn't work, and everything broke. It looked like you'd put a bomb off in there. But hope Benelli doesn't go out there and fall through any of that ice. But let's look. We're getting down here to the end of it right now. We'll just take a look at this, and but we got water. We still have water. Everything's worked fine through all of this. Well, let's take a look at this and see what a little frozen water looks like. I know all of y'all said, we see frozen water every day, Biggie. Jimmy, no big deal. Doesn't happen much here. All right, there we go. This is the very end of this little pocket. This is a great little pocket. It always holds a lot of fish, and it's one that we fish quite a bit. If y'all remember back when we found the baby owl, remember when we found the baby owl? And the baby owl was one egg. Actually, we found an egg to begin with. We didn't find a baby owl. We found one egg, which is kind of unusual because owls will usually lay 2 eggs, or the owls anyway that we've had. That's solid froze over. That's exactly what I thought might see. Looks nice, and I hope Benelli doesn't go out there. Fall through. I stepped in a big hole here. Look at that hole, boys and girls. I stepped right in that hole. It fell down, did not break my leg. That's always good. But Benelli doesn't walk out on that ice much. She walked out on a little bit. I don't hear any big space. Benelli, where are you? Benelli! Well, I don't know where she went. I didn't hear her fall through the ice. Oh, here she comes. Benelli, where you been, girl? You stay off that ice, okay? Like she could understand me. If y'all remember back though in that year, this thing got about several inches. Be careful, Benelli. Get off that ice. Benelli, come here. No, you'll fall through. Come on. Really bad deal when dogs fall through. They have the same problem that humans do. That takes a lot more before they have hypothermia set in, I suppose, because they got those big heavy coats, and labs usually have a lot of flats. Stay off the ice. But sometimes they fall through ice and they can't get back out, just like humans can't get back out. But if you'll remember, Lucy had her triplets, and then also Milburn, her adopted son, and all 5 of them got out in the ice in the middle of this pocket and walked across it, completely across it, while Apache and I were out here working. And I got so excited and so worried because I was afraid the ice would break through with the weight of those deer. And even though 4 of them were young, I was really afraid they'd break through. And I actually got out there on that ice like a dummy myself, trying to get my deer off the ice, which I did. But it was a pretty spooky type deal. But anyway, let's get down here and kind of walk down here and look at this. You can see that, oh, it goes some mallards. See those mallards going there? Mallards like, ooh, there's a bunch of them flying up. Yeah, buddy, they like to get in these ends like this. But anyway, it was about right out here in the middle. It wasn't too far. In fact, I was working on that little dock. But I want to show you the difference in what we've got now and what we had then as far as our water system goes. Our water system is actually over in that little building on the side of Steve's big building there. It's my buddy Steve Wells' building. Very nice building. And our water system, our big water system, is the little building that his son Aaron built on the side of that. But all of this is ice. And as we get closer to the lake out here, we're going to run out of ice. And it's going to get thinner and thinner, obviously, as you get out here probably. And that's definitely what we don't want Vanelli out on. But you can see that that little pier out there. We had our pump at the end of that. You see that little piece of PVC out there? That's where we had our pump. And and Apache and I was laying out there on our bellies in that working on that pump and the hose that ran over here to the bank. So you can see that there and see that wouldn't be too comfortable. It was minus 14 degrees. We had a north wind blowing. The air come back on this side. The line, the hose line come back on this side. And the north is to the right, that direction right there. And that pocket is all frozen over. It's kind of cool. But we were laying there facing the north and working on that. Minus 14 degrees with a north wind blowing, probably minus 30 or so air temperature. It's just absolutely terrible. Just absolutely terrible. And my fingers got so cold. We put our fingers down in the water. The water was free right there around it. Outside and around is about 3 or 4 inches of ice. Those deer walked all the way across this right here and never had any problem at all. Actually, I ended up doing the same thing, being concerned that the deer might fall in, which they did not because the ice was so thick. But we were laying on our stomachs out there fixing that. And we did get it fixed and got it working. And that was just a terrible, terrible cold front. But then you can look and see over there on the other side. You see, this is our pier, our dock. This is a floating dock. This is our dock that was where we had the pump and had the pump house back behind us. And now that's our dock right now. Look at that. A brand new, shiny dock. It's got a crank on it there where you can crank that pump up. You can hook a deal to it and crank that tank up out of the water. That it'll lick it up manually. Got a nice walkway running to it. But our problem has been up there above it where we have a big area up there where we have our pipes running to. They run up to my partner Steve's house. They run back behind me to my house. And before they do all that, they go up and go through the filtration system in that little building right there on the side of the side of his barn. Goes in there, comes back down, and then goes back behind me up to my house, which is several hundred yards up over there. It goes up to his house, which is about, it's probably 100 yards up there to his house. So it's a lot of water line running around, and the water line's running down under me about where I'm standing right now, as a matter of fact. But what we've had to dig up is that area right over there, dig down 3 foot deep and get down into the holes. One of the places where we've got it there, we've got actually a hole there with a cover over it and about a foot of dirt over the cover, but where it broke this time was nothing but dirt, and we had to dig down there. But anyway, we got it working. But we get right there and we see that we got water over there. We got the edge of the ice right there, and we got ice going all the way up in the rest of the pocket. And now I assume that will probably disappear the next 2 days when we got temperatures up in, not in the 40s, beginning tomorrow. We've got about another 24 hours of below freezing, which will put us over 100 hours below freezing. I heard that the record in Oklahoma City of hours below freezing, below 32, 295 hours. That's right, 295 hours. I think Oklahoma City's probably going to hit about, 125, 130, something like that. So, long way from a record, but we have no global warming in Oklahoma. That's kind of cool. Ice all the way up that pocket. I don't know if there's any bass under that ice or not. They're probably all out here the other way, out in the main part of the lake, and we got look around real quickly. That's what it looks like over there. Now I know there's bass out there. Oh yeah, there's bass out there. Lots of them. Be hard to catch right now, but I think next week when it gets into the 50s, I may get out there and try. I got a buddy of mine coming to visit, Red Berry from Alabama, who I was going to go hunting with and driven to Alabama, about an hour away from Birmingham, when I got the news that Chris had a stroke. So Red's coming to visit with his new lady, and we're anxious to meet her. Another single digit degree morning here on the Eagle. You can see that the ice is building a little bit on that other side. There's quite a bit of ice melted yesterday. A lot of the ice that's right around the edge of the lake. See all the ice up in that upper end up there. And the upper end keeps on going to the left. We can't really see the upper end of the lake, but you see all that ice that's over there. You see patches of ice out in the middle of the lake. Now, this is really something. Now, that hasn't happened. It got down to 8 degrees. That's 6, 6, and 8. We're well over 100 hours below freezing. Oklahoma City on the news last night, around 10 o'clock, were 96 or 97 hours. I don't know exactly. We may not be the same that we got down to below 32 that Oklahoma City did. But you can see all that ice out in the middle. That's a big, long patch of ice out in the middle. You can actually see, if you're looking closely, that there's ice chunks floating on top of the ice. That's exactly what that is out there. So the lake is actually, if we were to have another 2 or 3 days of this, that lake would have a solid sheet of ice all the way across it, except what our little ducks keep open. In the middle of the night last night, there were probably 500 or 600 ducks right here. It was dark, but I still looked at them through the binoculars. I walked out there one time and they got up and flew out further, but they came back. There's not many ducks right here in front this morning, but there is, without a doubt, big sheets of ice in the middle of the lake. As we start out a day that is going to get above freezing. Today's the day that breaks the camel's back as far as the ice and cold weather storms. It's going to be in the 40s today and tomorrow, and then back down. We'll have another 40 or 50 hours below freezing. So we're not out of the woods yet for this January deal. But then after that, from then to the end of the month, which is going to be, I don't know, what'll that be, 21 or so to the end of the month, should stay around 50 for the highs every day, down below freezing every night. Boys and girls, that's winter. It is 38 degrees. That's right, a balmy 38 degrees. I just want to show y'all that big patch of ice that is in the middle of the lake. And I'm sure it'll disappear today because it's going to be up in the 40s. And then perhaps in the 50s tomorrow. I'm going to show you that big patch of ice. And then also I want to zoom in on those geese. We had just looked out and you see all the ice on the trees over there. Now that's all over this upper end of the lake. I don't know. Sorry about that. That's sun. And the window. We could actually go outside and do this, so I don't have to do this from the inside. Well, I might scare those geese off. I want to show you those geese. All right, you just have to bear with the horrendous camera work. But there's a big bunch of geese just come swimming by with ducks also. You can see some of them getting out there, standing up in the shallow water. One of them are standing on a log. The ducks, there's several of them standing on that log, but you can see that's a pretty good bunch of geese, and they just keep coming. As we look on down that way, there's more geese, bottoms up, and they just keep coming. And they're on up that, we can't see up by the shoreline, but they go on up there. But we look at that big chunk of ice in the middle of the lake. Look at the ice on the trees on the other side. But if we had maybe one more day of what we've been having, this part of the lake, look at all that ice. Isn't that pretty? The pretty fact is it's above 38. That's all going to be melting. But really neat deal with all the Canadian geese. I love it. Well, now that it's warmed up, I might ought to end this video. to see something exciting happen, I might add a little bit to it. But y'all remember, I sure do love you.